This is my first time seeing it.
Now we're starting to cook.
Sounds like Doc's walking out, so let's take a... How many footballs do we got?
Oh, we got a lot. Boom.
Oh! Doctor?
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Pretty good, huh? It's great to see you, man.
Where's my camera guy?
Just to be clear,
Right
I
there.
want everyone to
Boom.
know,
Gotcha.
okay?
I'm very... Hey, guys.
All right. Obviously, we have a very special stream going on today. We're going to dominate some MW2.
I mean, that's a given. It feels good to be back here. I remember the last time I was in the stadium.
Well, come on, man.
And we're here at the Niners versus Cowboys game inside of the Dallas Stadium.
The game is over. Because we won. Good luck next year.
Anyways, you know, we can move on. It's up to this is your show.
Thank you. And then later on, and I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this, I'm going to challenge the two-time to go down onto the field.
I'm
now we're
downloading
talking.
this.
We
VOD
literally
the other
have
day.
fire and fireworks, I think, at our command.
How
All right.
custom can we get here?
Production, can they do individual? I think they can just do all.
In my arena, we can do individuals. I'm just saying.
Well, this is my arena.
Well, you're borrowing it. Wordle. I'm not playing Wordle right now, guys.
Guys, chats, please,
I've never had a monitor so low.
put your chair down.
Is this your
Movie
chair?
Maker, bro.
I mean, Jesus. All right.
See, no wonder he was taller than me. He's cranked all the way up. That better?
Yeah.
Push up, up. Don't push it in, up. Pull up on the little...
Oh, nice.
There you go.
This is a nice chair, huh?
Yeah, pretty good, right? Someone in my chat goes, are they really at the stadium? I don't know if you can see. Can you guys see that guy down there? You think that guy's green screened as well?
He's trying to figure out how to send it individually.
I do have to say, don't hurt Kevin, okay?
I won't.
I can throw him.
I'm not allowed to. 70 yards in the air. Just.
Oh, chat, look what I brought, bro. Wait.
Can I just never hear my shit?
Oh, Timmy?
The two-time and the two-ton.
Why is there no volume?
How do you
bro?
not utilize these fireworks every 5 minutes?
Fuck,
I don't
turn
know
off
how
the
much
freaking
is in the
thing.
tank, and I don't. There's certain things we're gonna. I was thinking maybe after.
Like boom, boom, boom. So I don't have the green light. You have the green light.
Yeah, technically it is. It's my row show, but like,
Boom!
holy sh! Okay, dude, you're gonna scare me. Stop just yelling. We're gonna throw
Well,
you
how do we
out of
get
here.
these things active?
The start, run
Production.
through it. I'm not gonna even use the new input system that Unity has. I'm just gonna go run through it the way it is displayed online, just so that way everything is perfect. What's the name of this shit? Okay. Well, we're good to go now. I guess. What is this bullshit? I'm just going to Unit 2 basically, but I want to see if this is a recap on the V. Does this have. What is this? Yeah, this is this. I guess I could just go through this poll. If I'm gonna just go through the whole thing. Oh, it just wants me to read this shit? Yeah. Amazing. There's not a single video on this shit? What am I on? I'm on overview, recap. Okay. I'm gonna be able to open this and I feel like alright, well I'll just go through this when I'm like actually gonna publish something. I already went through it. I'm not gonna just read this shit for no reason. Okay. Alright, well, we're gonna jump into fucking Unit 2 now. Once this is done. I guess I could just start now. Okay, hold on, I'm pretty sure this is just what I already did. This is just project 1. Perfect. Alright. What did I name this thing? I guess I could start naming the name of the VODs. This shit as well.
Congratulations! If you're watching this video, it means you've made it all the way through Unit 1 and are ready to take your skills to the next level. In this unit, we will create a much more interactive top-down prototype where the player has to throw food to hungry animals, who are stampeding towards them. And if you've ever had to face down a herd of charging moose with nothing in your hand but a slice of pizza, you'll know that's going to be pretty exhilarating. If you think about our first prototype, it wasn't really a game. The player was the only object that could move, so they could just take their time in this completely predictable environment. There was no real objective, excitement, or sense of urgency. In most games and interactive experiences, though, there are non-player enemies or obstacles outside of the player's control that force the player to respond. In order to respond, the player will usually have some ability like an attack or defense. And more often than not, there's also some element of randomness so that the experience is more exciting and unpredictable. All of these things are elements of basic gameplay. And that's exactly what we're learning to program in this prototype. Non-player animals will spawn at random locations, and it's up to the player to use their food launching ability to feed those animals. Even though we are programming one particular type of game in this unit, you'd be amazed at how far these skills will take you. Just about every great classic game ever made draws on these fundamental ingredients of basic gameplay. So let's start creating.
Easy. Why'd they move that to the next thing?
This prototype is all about feeding hungry animals. So the first big decision to make is what kind of animals you want to feed and what you want to feed them. Do you want to feed an apple to a chicken? Do you want to feed a steak to a dog? Want to feed some pizza to a moose? All of that and more is possible. But if we want to be able to chase all of these animals to feed them, the player is going to need some basic movement. So by the end of this lesson, you'll have a player, some food, and some animals in the scene, with the ability to move the player left and right.
Yes, very easy.
Moving the player left and right will be easy. We'll use the same technique we did in the driving simulator to move the car. Here's the twist though. Unlike that car, which we could drive off the edge, we don't want the player to be able to leave the edge of this screen. So to prevent this from happening, we'll use something called an if statement.
Oh my god.
An if statement is a pretty straightforward concept.
Oh my god.
If some condition is met, then do something.
Oh my.
In our project, if the player's position is too far to the left, then we'll stop them. If the player's position is too far to the right, then we'll stop them there too. If statements are one of the most important tools for adding logic to your projects. So to make all that happen, I'll see you in Unity.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get started
fuck?
with Prototype 2. And in order to get started, the first thing I'm going to have to do is make a new empty 3D.
Fuck off. This first thing right here is just him opening the project and getting like all the preset assets into the project. I'm definitely not gonna watch that again. So I'll just do that real time. I don't need this project anymore. Although that probably would have been smart to keep that out because I could draw on those files. But whatever. This will be a good like memory exercise, getting just more familiar with like how the coding. Proj 2 ND. I'm not gonna even, normally I'd have to download those assets, but I already have the assets right here, so I'm just gonna use the assets again, reuse the assets, I guess, for the final time. Except going ham on adding things this time around. That's how I'll do it. Exciting. Three minutes left. My first YouTube video is gonna be uploaded. Holy fucking shit. Are you done vacuuming? Yeah. Nice. Hell yeah. Holy crap, we're open. Check this out. Fire layout. Immediately comes back. Oh, this is Exodus. That's the name of that fucking story. Alright, we're going to import some fucking packages. It's just gonna be the exact same thing. Give me their files, man. I don't remember how to like spawn shit. I just did this. I need to create a spawn manager. I want this to end because I think this is having an effect on my Unity.
All right, so we've got our scene set up here, and you can see it's pretty empty. There's nothing really happening aside from this background down here that you can see. So we're actually going to change the perspective to be top down
Can
by
I
just clicking the green
change my
arrow underneath Y.
I can
Top
fire.
right of our scene view. We'll just
Full
zoom this out. We'll see if
module.
we get a better position. There you go. That's pretty good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and add some things to the scene to just make it a little bit more alive. So we're going to go into our course library here, and we're going to click on the down arrow so that we can expand all the different folders inside. And then if we click on the expand arrow next to humans, you can see we have all of these different options here. And if you want to get a preview of these characters, what we can actually do is on the bottom right of Unity, you can see this little tag down here that says Simple Farmer. So if we just drag this up, you can actually see that we can have a little preview
Farmer
of our character
Daniels.
here. So we have a farmer's daughter, we have the farm wrangler, we have one of the wives. So I think I'm just going to go with wife Brown here with this nice brown hat. So what we're going to do is we're going to left click drag the wife directly into the hierarchy.
The brown
above it.
hat.
That way our
That's
characters
why.
spawned exactly at 0, 0, 0. It just makes things a lot easier. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go and drag in some animals. So if we expand the animals folder, we see we have a lot of different options. We have some dogs that we can choose from. We have farm animals, and we have forest animals. Now, the animals that we want to use really depend on what kind of scene we're working in here. So actually, if we collapse the animals, we can see that there's a materials folder down here at the bottom.
I'm gonna fucking
if we expand
snake,
this,
man.
You can see that we actually have different options of different textures that we can have for the floor to make it a different art style on the bottom. So we can actually left click drag the material sand directly onto our scene over where we have our ground. And then if we let go, it'll actually save that as the texture. In our case, I'm just going to keep it as grass. So I'm just going to drag this back in. So we're back to grass. Cool. So since we have this grass scene, we're going to go into our animals folder and expand that. And we're going to drag in, let's say, I like one of these. I think this moose looks really good, so we'll drag it into our hierarchy. And then we'll grab one of these foxes. And then we'll grab one of these does, and we'll just drag it, drop it into our hierarchy. Cool, so now we have all of our animals. You can see if we just focus on it, they're all kind of clumped together, so we'll fix that in a bit. One last thing that we're going to add is these animals probably need some food, so we're actually going to go and open up our food folder. And let's see, we have different things like pizza, we have a cookie, we have an apple. I think in this case, we'll give the animals some pizza, so we'll just drag and drop that into
Why
our
is it saying
hierarchy.
organic pear?
Cool.
Like, how would you even be
So
able
now
to
what
tell?
we're going to do is we're going to reposition our animals and our pizza so that they're all out of the way. They're not all just clumped together. So if we just go here and then we zoom out using our scroll wheel. Cool. So we're going to take our moose, for example, and we're going to control left click so that we snap it to every one unit, and we'll just bring it out to, let's say, 12 for now. And then we'll drag the moose over. So using our X arrow over here, control drag it to the left. Cool, good enough for now. We'll take our fox and we'll do the same thing. So we'll just leave this one in the middle. And then we'll take our doe, control click on the doe with the blue arrow, and then control click on the red arrow to move it to the side. Cool. So now that we have all of our animals, let's move our pizza out. So the pizza's now in the middle, and it's a little small. As you can see, you can't actually see it that well in our game view. So we'll make this a little bit bigger, maybe something
all
like
easy shit.
twice the size. Let's see how that looks. Cool. Looks a little bit better. I think that's good enough for now. So we scaled the food up, and you can also use the scale tool over in the top left corner if you want to change the values yourself. If you want to make it a little bit bigger or something like that, I'm just going to leave it back to 222 for now. And then last but not least, what we're going to do is we're just going to go to our character, and we're going to right click on the character, and we're going to rename the character to player. That way we know that this will be the character that the player is controlling. So
Cool.
to recap, what we did was we
hell's that Wrangler? Oh, it's not actually a Wrangler. Dogs. They're all tiny. I don't fuck with the dogs. What's a stag looking like? Hell yeah, we'll do stag, moose, big boys. Duh, we'll do all moose. And let's go grab. What does a cooked fish look like? No. It looks like I legitimately just can't even fucking tell what the hell that is. Carrot. Yeah, it's carrot. No, it's too small. This is why I picked the cookie last time. Okay, steak? Hell yeah, that's yeah. Well, that's way too big. The stately. One. Three. I'll do three for now, and then that's fine. Can I move them all at once? I can. Beautiful. Rotate them all at once. 180. Wee. Doggy. Okay, I believe that's it. Okay. Process abandon. What the fuck does that even mean? Don't worry about that. What's happening? Okay, so I gotta verify my account. It just said I was verified, bro. Like, what is this fucking bullshit? Why can't this, like, see what I'm doing? Thank you, YouTube. Bro, I gotta do it again? That's fucking insane. I feel like that's not true, but alright. Oh. No, dude. Just back to the top.
Added a
Immediately going into horizontal input, that's easy.
Okay, cool. So we've got our scene set up, we've got our animals in there, we've got our piece of food, and then we have our character. So now what we've got to do next is we want to make sure that we can make the player move left and right, and so we'll need to write some very familiar code to be able to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to right-click on our assets folder, we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this scripts. Then if we press enter, now in our scripts folder, we're going to right-click on that, and we're going to create a C# script.
Just absolutely.
Now we're going to name this C# script player controller so that we can control our player with it. And now we're going to make sure to add this script as a component to our player object. So if we just click and drag and drop it onto player, and then if we click on player, we can just make sure that we have added our script. So that's perfect. So now what we're going to do is double click on player controller, and this will open up our IDE. And now what we're going to do is at the top of our class, we're going to create a new variable, and we're going to call it a public variable so that way we can just see what it does. We're going to make this a float so then we have some really precise values. And we're going to call this horizontal input. And now in our update function, what we're going to do is we're going to get our horizontal input, and then we're going to set this to be getting the value for our horizontal input. So if we use the input manager, we can get the axis, and the axis name that we want is horizontal. Now that we're getting our horizontal input, if we go into Unity, you can see that our horizontal input has been added.
What?
The band.
The band? What band?
The wedding band.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Not that type of diamond, but the band.
You like that band?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't like how thin it is, but
The engagement ring is usually thinner than the wedding band itself.
yeah, it's really nice. And I send that to me. I'll look at what they like. I like thicker bands. Okay, I gotta download Instagram then.
Added to the player controller script. Now when we press play, you can watch as on the horizontal input, if I press the right arrow key, it goes all the way up to 1, and if I press the left arrow key, it goes down to -1. So now what you're going to do is, in Unity, you're going to create another script.
What I'm gonna do is go ham, bro. Like, what the fuck you mean, man? This shit ain't for the kids. Folder. Um. Get access? Was that not it? It was definitely get. Could have sworn this shit was get access. I'm dumb. Input dot get access. Okay, so I have to access the actual input manager first, and then I could use its method of get. Get access. And then I just have to horizontal money. This is actually everything for this step. But I could actually now do this. Transform dot translate. Vector3 dot right times speed times horizontal input times delta time. Make a speed input. Public float speed equals, we'll do 5 meters. And that's just that's a script. Close this shit because I'm a god. Throw this on our simple farmer. Let me go ahead and rename him to player. And not only do I already have the horizontal input, but it's actually doing something. Oh, wait. Argument input access horizontal is not set up. Well, I feel like that's bullshit. What does this mean to set it up? I jumped ahead anyway. Am I just retarded? Did I spell horizontal wrong? Yep, that is. I knew exactly where to look. Horizontal. Knowing me. Yeah, right. Is it still? He needs to. He can't be moving that slow. Let's bring this to 10. Now he's. Damn, he's still go fucking slow. Wait, why is this 5 still? Oh, do I have to take this off and then put it back on for that to actually reset? Ah, okay. I don't know how they've not shown this. This is probably. He has like delay. Watch left. There's like delay here. Whatever. I'm going with 15 anyway. Yeah. Alright. And now we're good. Move the player left to right. So this is what I just did. Yeah, exactly. Going ham first try. I can do it. I'm dirty.
All right, so we've added a way to get input whenever a player presses a key. Now we actually need to use that input to be able to translate the player left and right. So what we're going to do is in our update method, we're going to get the transform of our object, and we're going to translate it. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to get the direction that we want to go. So we want the player to go left or right. So we'll get vector3.right. And then we'll multiply this by our horizontal input. So that way it knows to go positive or negative. And then we're going to just make sure that it updates over time and not every single frame. And then we're going to set it to a speed. So instead of just using a number, let's just use a variable because we might reuse this again anyways. And we'll close this statement. Now the speed variable is yelling at us because it doesn't actually exist yet, so we're going to create that. So we'll make this a public variable as well so we can see and change it as we need. This will also be a float so we can be really precise. We'll call this speed, and for now we'll set this to be about, maybe let's call it 10. So now if we save, and then we go back into Unity, now when we press play in our game view, we'll just make it a little bit larger. As we go left and right, you can see that the player moves back and forth, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now, we have another problem here where the player actually goes off the screen, which is pretty bad. Actually, in fact, you could probably just have the player fall off of this map, which is definitely not something that we want to happen. So we're actually going to fix that in a later part. So to recap, we added a new variable to our player controller script called speed. We made it a public float so that we can change it whenever we need to later. And then we added another transform.translate method to be able to move the player left or right over that speed over a certain time. So now it's your turn. Alright, so we've added a way to get input whenever a player presses a key. Now we actually need to use that input to be able to translate the player left and right. Great, so we've added a way to be able to control the player and move them left or right. But we have another problem now where the player can actually go off of the screen that we can see. And in fact, if you see the scene view, our player can actually just go all the way off the screen, and then eventually they might actually just fall off the map, which is no good. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a boundary so that the player cannot leave this area and they'll stay within what we can see in the game. In order to do that, we're actually going to start using some logic in programming so that we can control when we want something to happen and when we don't. If we go over to our IDE, now in our IDE, what we're actually going to do is we're going to add something called an if statement to our update method. So if we go to our method and we create a new line by pressing enter, now we can type in if, and then we'll put next to it some parentheses, and then if we press enter and add a curly bracket, which is just under your minus key on your keyboard, and we'll press shift to make that curly bracket. Why? Because if we just press the button where the curly bracket is, we'll make square brackets, and that's not something that we can use, nor do we want right now. So this is an if statement. What will happen is when this line of code happens in our update function, if the thing inside of these parentheses is true, if it's something that is happening, then it'll do whatever is inside of this code block. So what we're going to do is we know that the player is moving left or right on their X position. Now, we want to bound that within a certain range so that way they don't go off the screen. So what we'll actually do is in our if statement, where we're checking what's going to happen, we're going to write transform, and then we're going to get the player's position, but we're going to get the X value specifically. And we want to make sure that it's less than negative 10. Now there's a problem here because, as we know from before, less than is not something that you can tell a computer. If you remember, there's a lot of different symbols that you can use, like the plus sign or the minus sign. What we're going to do is we're going to use a left caret symbol. And so this means less than. So if the current object's position on the X is less than negative 10, now we can do something. So now that we know that whenever the player's position gets to less than -10, what we're going to do is we're going to get their position, and we're going to set it to a position that we want them to go to. So we're going to use
I'm
a
just out
new
here
vector 3.
muting myself, boys.
That way we can create a position that they go to. Because we don't want the player to go less than -10, we want to keep them at -10 whenever they try. So we'll put -10 for the x value, but their y and their z positions never change. So if we type transform dot position dot y, that'll get their y position, and then transform dot position dot z. And then if we close off that statement, now if we save and then we go into Unity, and now when we press play, if we try to go to the left in the negative direction, when we hit 10, you can see that the player runs into this invisible wall and they can't move any further. So going into our IDE, what you're going to do is you're going to write...
Leave that right there. Gotta write my first if statement. If transform dot position x is less than -10. I'm not gonna do -10. X value. Let's do 15. All right, hold on. Transform dot position. If that's less than 10, then we want the object to equal I don't know how the fuck. Okay. No. I don't think this is. No. Oh, no, it is. Oh, okay. Well, this is just asking. Okay. This is just asking for the position. All right, so hold on. See, this is where like those. This is where the help helps, J-Bone. Let me go a little bit longer. Will 20 get me to the end? The chopped cheese. I need to play some more New World. That shit was gas. Beautiful. Why can't? What the fuck just happened? Okay, what the absolute fuck? Oh, what the fuck? This is a int done. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was being dumb. Why can't he come back? What have I done? Oh, there it is. Money. All right, bet.
Great. So now we're able to make sure that the player never leaves the left side of the screen. However, the player can still leave the right side of the screen, and that's definitely not what we want to happen at all. So we're going to go back into our IDE. Now, in our player controller script, you can see that we have this if statement, and we're going to cheat a little bit. So we're actually just going to highlight all of this code, and we're going to copy it, and then we're going to make a new line, and we're going to paste it. Now, really what we're doing is now we just want to make sure that it never goes greater than 10. So in the effort of laziness, we're actually going to just set this to be greater than 10. And then we're going to change the negative 10 to 10. So now if we save this, in Unity, when we press play, if we go left, we stay in bounds. If we go right, we also stay in bounds. Now, that was a nice, easy way to be able to make sure our player stays in bounds. Now, we do have one problem where we're using the numbers negative 10 and 10 multiple times. And so what we're going to do is we're actually just going to make a variable for this. So that way we don't have to keep rewriting these numbers anytime that we want to. So we're actually going to create a public float. We're going to call this one left bounds so that it's the left boundary of the screen. And we're actually just going to set this to negative 10 right now. And we're going to do the same thing for the right bounds. So public float right boundary. We're just going to leave these public for now just in case we need to change the numbers later. It was a little small, the area that the player could move, so maybe we'll fix that later. So we'll actually go and, whoops, made a mistake. Remove that minus sign because we want the right bounds to be the same as this number. So we're going to go to negative 10 and we'll just delete that and we'll just call this left boundary. And then this negative 10, the same thing. And then for 10, it'll be the right boundary. And with that, we've just moved the values around, but the interaction will still be the same. As the player goes to the left, it'll be stuck to negative 10. As the player goes to the right, it'll still be 10. However, there is one way that we can do this even better than what we have right now. So you can see that we actually have 10 and negative 10, and we can actually clean this up to be even better than what we have right now.
Even better.
So, in fact, if I remove left and right boundary, and I can create a float variable that we'll just call x range to be the range that the player can move within the x value. And we're actually just going to set this to be 10. Now, the computer's mad at us because these variables don't exist anymore, so we're actually going to change left boundary, and we're going to make this a negative x range, which will immediately turn that 10 into a negative 10. And then with our left boundary down here, do the same thing, negative x range. In our right boundary, we'll set this to x range. And the same thing down in our method. And now, with this magical math that we've done, we can actually go into Unity,
and see
and when we press
nothing
play,
has changed really.
as the player moves back,
There's money. This will only change public float ax bound equals 20. Expound. Expound. Okay. Boom. Boom. Big money. Now I just gotta get my steakums out. Oh boy.
So to summarize,
No, I don't need a summary of. I said, hey, oh, fuck my mom. And I said, yeah, 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 yeah. Alright, I need to shower, so I'm done with this for today, and I'm going to shower, and then I might get back on this after the fights, but I am tired for some reason, so I will nap and jacuzzi, and then watch the fights and get back to this. So there will be a continuation of day 3, unless I'm a liar, and then that will just happen on day 4. But it looks like our video is being processed. Dropped all this stuff. This is much better. Now I'll be able to do the challenges. I've actually have a better, a stronger grasp, so I should be able to eventually get health bars on these things this time around, and then actually move on to the next module for the first time. So this is all still backtracking for a little bit longer. It's going to be backtracking through the some of the challenges, not all of them, and then drop in a health bar and I believe a score, so a UI. So this is very good. This is still a very good module to get more on, and then we can go ahead and we could go ahead and get that health bar, get that UI, and then we could actually go to the next module and soon build our own actual game from scratch. So making good progress for especially for day 3. So we'll end that here and we're good to go, and we have the um videos being uploaded to YouTube, so I'll be able to store this shit. What up, John? I'm actually about to pop off for a little bit. I'm going jacuzzi mode before the fight, so I'll see you later. Penthouse. Also, Warzone is in like a couple days. We're gonna have to go ham on that shit. I'm gonna text you though.